We are Lucy and Andrea, both 3D artists currently based in London. We decided to start this podcast together as we aim to motivate and uplift creatives by sharing our knowledge and that of other designers.
So if you're passionate about growing your creative skills, staying inspired, and navigating the challenges and rewards of the creative career, this is the podcast for you. Rose Pilkington is a digital artist specialising in experimental 3D illustration and motion. Her work is heavily inspired by the intricacies of the natural world, drawing inspiration from colours, textures, and patterns at a microscopic level. Her clients include Excel recordings, Frieze Art Fair, and Instagram.
She's light-hearted and funny, open to sharing interests and passions beyond her work. We're really excited today to find out more about her and her process.
Gorgeous. Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming today. It's really lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. What an honour.
Yeah, so to kick it off a little bit, we wanted to ask you about your background because when we were looking into your website, there seems to be a lot of colour. It kind of has also a bit of a graphical feel. Maybe there's a graphic design background there that we don't know about. But so what brought you to 3D design?
Yeah, I mean, wow, we can go right back to the beginning. So much of my journey, I kind of, my university journey was very important, very pivotal for me. When I know that a lot of the time it's not the case for everyone, and not everyone has like the best experience there. But I think because I was more of a mature student, I was a little bit older, started a little bit later. I was maybe 23, 24. No, maybe 20. Yeah, about 23. And everyone was a lot younger, like fresh from school, 18. And so I think that maybe in my head, that gave me a bit of a spur to kind of really focus and hone in. So that 3 years I did graphic design at Central St. Martin's, specialised in motion design, animation. And I just kind of, they sort of just drop you in it and they say, just go and do your thing. Just go and do what you want. There's no guidance. There's not really any teaching of any kind. It's sort of just left to your own devices and see what happens. But in a way, that was quite magic because it just meant that I could just find what the hell it was that I wanted to love and do and discover. And so, yeah, and that's really where I found the things that I love now, and it really just defined my journey moving on. And it was my dissertation actually that really kind of springboarded me off into where I am now in the direction and the areas of work that I love. Well, so I wrote my dissertation about colour and basically the psychological impact that colour has on us as humans. And so how the colour of a design space can have a kind of almost physiological reaction to us.
Sure.
And it does. I mean, it's and so I'd originally started looking at sort of visual perception, art, things like that. And then I started reading into kind of the science behind it and what it all meant. And that then led me into looking at how we perceive colour.
Love that.
Because there's the science and then there's the sort of more emotional response to it. And they both go hand in hand. But I mean, it's fascinating. There's so many facets to it and so many, caveats. And it's just like this infinite realm of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And I got really quite obsessed with this as a subject and wrote my dissertation about it. And then from there, it just sort of carried on and it evolved and it's stayed with me since then, and it's sort of woven its way into my work.
Yeah, I can totally tell actually. And actually because you were talking about that a little bit in the Nice Tuesdays talk, which I thought it was really interesting because I'm always loving how, I don't know, you can interact with science within art as well, or
Yes.
design. And I actually looked at a study after that. I was
really?
like, let me have a look at the actual studies out there and how much color can actually influence us in so many ways.
Yeah.
And they had these like fMRI studies where different parts of the brain would light up according to what color palettes they were presented with.
Yeah.
And one of them, well, it can basically change how you focus, your memory, as well as like your emotional state, which obviously is super cool as well. But yeah, just so many things that can happen just from that.
Completely fascinating and insane. I mean, that study, I'm not sure if I talked about it in that talk, but that the prisons,
Mhm.
the prison cells that they painted pink to basically tranquilize the inmates.
Wow.
So
Where
they
is
would
that?
so they
What
would
prison cell?
so they painted this very particular shade of pink, Baker Miller pink, and that it had been tested that when you look at this color, it would lower your blood pressure.
Yes.
So all of the inmates would be put in this room to calm down, and then their blood pressure would lower, and then they would eventually become like less aggressive. So that is that physiological
That's so
thing,
interesting.
which is
It's beautiful.
mad.
But it's cool that was your dissertation topic, and
Yeah.
then you've carried that through.
Yeah,
I love that as well.
That's like a long-standing theme, isn't it?
it is.
And how come you started that? Was that part of your work that you were doing at uni as well then? Or how did that become your dissertation and your interest?
Yeah,
then?
I don't know. It just kind of happened. It just
Mm.
and I've sort of always I've been trying to sort of see where that interest and love color came from, and if it had been has been a thread running through my life. And I think I looked back at sort of, I'm a child of the 90s, and I think that so much of our childhood had such a think of the colors of the toys that we grew up with, and the visual style of the 90s.
For sure.
It was like neon, crazy colors, bright like pinks and greens, like slinkies.
No,
Yes.
it's so true. It's like
Yeah.
so neon everything,
It really
isn't it?
Yeah, and that's kind of, I don't know, those are the colors that catch my eye these days.
Mm.
No, I feel very lucky that there has been these markers throughout my journey, and yeah, it's yeah.
How does that actually, like, specifically, how do you end up integrating these sort of sciencey things that you see or that you're interested in
Yeah.
into your work? Like, do you actually think about those things when you're creating, I don't know, a palette or setting an emotional tone for a project?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I think so much of the way I like to use color, it's always just very instinctual. I like to just, there's never really, there's not really often a lot of rhyme or reason with the color,
Yeah.
with the color choice. I suppose, yeah, I've always been very drawn to pink.
Yes.
Very
love some
drawn to
pink.
pink. And that always seems to be a color that weaves its way in. But I think I've always liked to test how far you can take color digitally. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I love 3D, because you really can push the boundaries
can.
of colors.
It's not like when you're printing.
No,
like, then try and print
exactly.
your renders. Good
Yeah,
luck.
exactly.
Which you've actually been doing, haven't you?
Yeah, you can go so far with it, and it's infinite, and there's just a plethora. But I do also love, like you say, that being able to see renders then transform into print, because I think our work is so, it feels quite frustrating for it to be sort of locked away in this digital space.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And only seen on like a few platforms, and then it can kind of disappear into the ether and never
Totally.
be seen again.
Never.
It's crazy.
And then become outdated, I find, really quick. Well,
Yeah.
it can be.
But
And
also, sorry.
sometimes doesn't stand the test of time.
I get that.
Yeah, and so being able to hold a piece of paper, I don't know, because I suppose maybe only in recent years have I started having work that then translated into print. So campaigns that then translated into like a billboard. And I remember the first time I saw a billboard of my work, and I was like, this is epic. I was just like, this is what I want. I want to be able to see the digital work in real life, a tangible thing, a tangible object that you can hold, a ticket or a map, or which is very cool. So I do love that. It's quite novelty for me as a digital person.
It's kind of all the freeze was like huge billboards, right?
Exactly.
True. That was super cool.
That must have been amazing to see.
That was awesome. And I feel like as I've been doing this for quite a long time, but having a big campaign like that it's quite recent for me. It's quite new to be able to have things on such a grand scale. And so that was nice.
Yes. I mean, you know what I'd love to do? I really want to like design wallpaper.
Oh,
like 3D
yes.
wallpaper.
Stop it. I just see you doing that.
So fun.
Because she has the most epic wallpaper in her room, her living room.
Oh,
but also the lounge is like really vibrant green. Like some people
so
walk in and
epic.
it's just like, did you do this, or was this from the previous owners?
What kind of shade of green here?
Like football pitch green.
Stop.
Yeah.
Grass green.
It's really green.
Oh my God.
And I love it.
That's
like
stunning.
I'm obsessed with really bold colours, but some of my friends find it hard to be in the room because it's quite stimulating. I just love it. It makes me feel amazing.
That's incredible.
When
well, there you go.
A space like that.
Yeah.
I can, so
the power of colour right there.
Colour.
Yeah.
Can't wait for your wallpaper, by the way.
I know, but don't you think that'd be fun?
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Can we apply 3D to make it more human, I guess?
No, for sure. Because it's interesting how you have, like, what attracts me to 3D is the infinite realm of things that you can do within it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but it stays on a screen.
Yes.
What's infinite about that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, how do you extract that? And
yes.
So I think a lot of 3D artists are also interested. That's why the printing thing is quite a thing. And like, I don't know, VR is also quite interesting because you suddenly kind of experience it in a different way.
Totally.
But yeah.
People are trying to break away from the screen.
Yeah.
Completely.
And more people get to experience it then. Because I feel like we're such a little vacuum bubble of like 3D artists 100%. Looking at 3D art in this specific world. And more people can experience the medium in different ways if they want and take other things.
Yeah.
Do you think it's become, because I'm trying to, I trace back like I was thinking about this morning and I was trying to trace back like the moment that I discovered 3D. And I was like, where the hell did I see this? I'd be interested to know where you guys had that moment where you were like, oh, what is that? Can I learn that? And for me, Tumblr, we're talking like probably 2013, 2014, Tumblr era. Tumblr was like popping off. And that's when, do you remember Vaporwave?
Yes. Yes.
Vaporwave movement.
Really bright. Yeah.
Which was hideous. It was a hideous era of like internet art. But I think that is literally where I was like, oh, what is this weird thing? Weird GIFs of things.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe I could learn this. And then that's when I actually picked up Cinema 4D. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try and learn this myself. And then it was tutorials galore.
You were a really early adopter to it. Like when did you first open cinema then? Like
2014, I'd say.
Jesus. I'd only just graduated then and I was like, I didn't even know what 3D was.
Same.
I don't think I'd been exposed to it that early on.
No, it's weird, but it's so who was it? I was saying to someone the other day, I was like, I feel like since that era, but maybe I'm naive because I wasn't aware of it prior to this time. But I feel like since that time to now, I mean, think about how much has changed.
It's wild.
Think about the
for sure.
accessibility of the software to people, the sort of general awareness of it, the resources, the software itself, how much it's changed, and now I think there's so much more accessibility to learning, and it's way more accessible to people, which is great.
I can imagine it would have been really hard to learn back in 2014.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine just maybe a handful of YouTube tutorials for like trying to skim
like
anything.
how to move a primitive, how to move this sphere from one place to another.
I do remember modeling, like learning how to model pre having like the remesher, and then everything had to be done manually. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was all very manual. And it's so funny. I mean, I think about, I don't know, I felt like such an imposter from the very start. I don't know, maybe it's something to do with being self-taught. But then everyone is self-taught. Who, I feel like 3D is such a like bedroom, in your bedroom, on your computer learning. Like that's the only way that people find it, really.
So true.
And there's no teaching
and it's infinite as well. Even if you do take a course, there's only so much they can show you, but then you have to do the rest of the legwork.
Exactly. And there's still and like you say, infinite is such a word that I've always thought of in 3D, because it's limitless, which is terrifying and overwhelming. Because you're like, how can I make this one thing in 1,000 different ways?
That's the problem. You need to create your own restrictions to give yourself some guidelines to not lose your mind.
Yeah.
All the ways of creating or doing, or like trying to find some sort of niche in the like very endless pit of creating. It's pretty scary.
It is scary. It's overwhelming. And actually I think an occupational hazard, because you're sitting there, I'm like, I need to make a leaf. How the fuck am I going to make that?
It's true, because now there are so many ways. Maybe before you could have just like, well, I just have to model one.
Yeah.
From scratch.
Yeah. But
at least that's less overwhelming now.
Yeah.
Now there's a gazillion plugins. You could do that as well.
Very true. Very true. Well, thank God for those. We love plugins.
So yeah, I guess you've done some pretty big client work. Do you feel that there was a certain project that propelled your career?
Great question. And there definitely was. In the same. Yeah, I think it's funny to look back and see that there was a clear moment where it kind of things shifted for me, and I realized that I am a Nepo friend.
A what?
I'm a Nepo friend. and I sit here and I have to admit it. I mean, basically, so this is going off piste, but when I first moved to London, I was super young. I came here when I was like 17, 18, and just moved to Hackney with some friends. Didn't really have a job. Was working in bars, and I started hitting the club. I used to go to this lesbian club in Tottenham Court Road, and I walked in and met my now best friend, who's Romy, who is Romy from the XX, and she was 17, and we hit it off, and we're inseparable ever since.
That's
and
so
so since then, so through meeting her, I then obviously met the rest of the band, Jamie and Ollie, and Jamie. It was Jamie who, around 2014ish, he released his album In Colour, and actually no, prior to this he released a single, and asked me to do a music video for it, and I was fresh off the boat from uni. I was just graduating, and he had seen some of my work. I think I've been posting it on Instagram or something, and he said, would you do a music video for me? And I was like, oh my God, yes. So I just did a full 3D animation. Had never done anything of that length before.
Yeah, that is insane.
I made it on a laptop,
Holy
like a little Mac like laptop that was like chugging away. But it was so simple. You know, his obviously we all know his logo. It's the little rectangle on the color backdrop, and it was just red and blue, and it was just kind of it was a challenge that I'd never quite experienced before. It's a client-based piece of work. It was my first commission, and from that, I think it opened up some doors and was a good portfolio piece, and that was sort of my springboard into commissioned work, paid work, client work, and then that's when I went freelance and the journey begins.
Did you get a brief for it, or did you actually make a bespoke, like 3-minute long piece?
Yeah, it was pretty much bespoke. It was a kind of sound reactive piece to the track, and obviously the material I had was just this little rectangle and the colors. So it was a sort of expanding, smashing, undulating.
So cool. Was there anything from your work that made him kind of be like, oh, I like this, do that, do something similar? Or...
God, I'm trying to think actually what my work was like then.
I mean, sorry to interrupt, but it's called In Colour. It's quite
actually that album came later, but he brought me back in for that, and it was then that amazing album, which was the album cover was the rainbow spectrum, and he asked me to do a 45-minute long visualizer. So that was animations for every single track on that album, and that was released the week of the album launch, and that was probably one of my biggest challenges. Yeah. I mean, how many tracks are on an album? 12 tracks. Yeah, 45-minute long animation. I lost my mind fully. I was like, but it was like,
a big task.
And every song had a different color. So it was a different part of the spectrum. And it was incredible. I mean, it was actually mostly 2D, sort of 2D, 3D look. But it was, mega challenge. And of course, like with these things, when you're just starting out, I mean, you're winging it from the get-go. You know, you're like learning new things. And actually still now to this day, I'm sure everyone does, but every single job, I just learned something new. And I'm just like, it's just going to keep going. And it's still learning so much every day, every project. And it's kind of mad, isn't it, when you look back at time and you're like, just been winging it the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like that's what everyone says, and it really does make me feel better, to be honest.
Totally.
And it's quite fun to have a job that lets you learn every day.
Absolutely.
You can't get bored.
You can't.
You
There's
really
so
can't.
much variety.
You'll never actually know everything.
No,
for sure.
No.
Keeps you humble.
Yeah.
I mean, that's epic.
Yeah.
Like, what an amazing first project.
Yeah,
like,
that's
so fresh-faced.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. So you feel like from then it was just like...
Well, I don't know. It was lucky. I think that time, around that time, 2014-ish era, that was when Instagram had just popped off.
Yeah.
And it was only really just like getting kind of, what's the word?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Traction or something.
Yeah, traction. And people were getting obsessed with it. And it was started to become a place for like artists to post their work on. And I think from when I started posting work on there, I started building a following. And I think from that time that I gotta give it to Instagram, because if I hadn't had my work on there, I don't think I would have been able to have got my name out there as much.
Yeah. It goes to show how important it is to actually share the work.
Totally, as frustrating as it is.
Yeah.
As much as we all, I mean, I can't bear it. I can't bear posting my work on there.
That's so hard.
It's kind of like you're a cog in the machine and you're churning out. I don't know. It's very exposing, isn't it? And
for sure.
And especially, you got to keep looking like we're going.
Active. I think it's more the pressure of the self-promotion that I don't like, more than the actual sharing. Like I love the sharing part. I just wish you could share in other ways beyond like exhibitions that are somehow a bit more effortless to organize, etc. Like in-person sharing.
Yes. Yeah.
It just feels weird to kind of put it out there in the void and then you don't see people.
Yeah. There's no interaction with it.
There's some sort of reaction, but there's no interaction, as you
forth.
say. Yeah.
And actually, that leads me into my gratitude to be here with you both. because I feel like I was talking earlier about the reclusivity of working as an artist, and how sometimes, I mean, I don't know what your experience was like when you were starting out, like finding a community and like finding your way in an industry, because I feel like for me, I started out, I taught myself, obviously. I did work in a studio for a bit. I worked at Studio Moros, headed by Aries Moros. I learned so much there. I mean, we did, it was basically visuals for music, big stage shows, live visuals, etc. And which was such an amazing learning experience. We did like One Direction visuals, which was epic.
No way.
Got to go and see them on stage. And Ollie Murs for X Factor.
Oh, goals.
Niche. And no, really cool stuff. And
you did the Spice Girls.
And Spice Girls. Spice
What a great
Girls.
job.
That was amazing. That was awesome.
But that's what's great. You see it out in the real world. Like
that is for sure a real world.
And on such huge scale. That's really
fun. Oh
yeah.
Totally. Big screen stuff. Love.
Yeah.
Love. And in motion as well. And then after that, that's when I decided to go solo. And I kind of, I've been like a lone ranger since then, really. And I've shared spaces with people, but I've found very much that so much of my journey has been me in a room with my desk and my computer, honed in this like, hyper focus, going mental in my office.
We do that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a shared experience.
Another occupational hazard.
I do find after a day of doing 3D, of like being really hyper focused in, I struggle to have conversations with people.
Literally.
I do. I've just been at one with bloody computer. I haven't had to talk. I'm like talking through my brain with the fucking software. And then someone asked me a really simple question. I'm just like, what?
It's exhausting. It's completely. But I think that's kind of amazing. There's nothing like monotonous about it. It's like we are literally using every cell in our brain to try to figure out the hell we're doing.
Yeah,
and
it's a day of troubleshooting.
That's exhausting. A day of troubleshooting, 100%. Problem solving,
thrown in with like being hyper creative.
Yeah, and just stressed. Really stressed.
So how is it working from home, since you mentioned before?
Yeah. I mean, I literally, I won't say the client that it was for, but for a very recent job where I fully lost it. I was like, and you just, I became completely obsessed by this project. And I was waking up at like 3 a.m, like with thoughts in my brain. And I was like, I've got to write this down. I've got to go to my desk, I've got to do it. Otherwise I won't have time. And just, I don't know, it like consumed me to my core. And it was like maybe 2 months where I was just like in my pajamas, twitching, like at my desk, just like, and my partner was just like, are you okay?
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm so scared you're going to burn out. But, sometimes I suppose when working from home as well, that's a definite hazard, because it's hard to separate home and work life. And then you're like, I'm just going to go from my bedroom to my office. I'm going to just like, there's no separation.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Which is tough.
Yeah. The thing is, I need that. I need to be around other people also doing something different to get some sort of focus and realize that this is not the be all and end all of everything, and just have very dumb conversations at lunch.
Yes.
About life stuff.
Yes.
To recalibrate. I used to be very much like obsessive, but I think I've got a healthier balance now between life and work, because I know, as my personality is, that I can become too addicted to something and put all my eggs in that basket and not focus on anything else in my life.
Yes.
So I try to manage that a bit better.
Yeah.
And also talk to everyone, like friends, to say, hey, can you help me out with this? And try and not take it all on my shoulders.
Yeah.
But that's why I couldn't work at home.
So sharing a bit of, sorry.
I also do like to have the focus. Like, I can't be in a busy work environment. I think full-time work that requires you to always be in a studio, for me, is quite distracting, because you're having to you dissect yourself in so many different ways, like managing people, like always being around different people to have different opinions. And sometimes you just need a moment to just separate and just focus in with no distraction.
Yeah.
And I do think full-time work, don't know if you feel the same, Andrea, but that's challenging, having that separation.
So do you sometimes at those moments that you need to kind of really focus, work from home sometimes, or do you always come in here to the
This
studio?
place is my actual like haven.
'Cause we've had a
I can
call
be
once.
focused here.
We had a call once and she was just surrounded by people on calls. I could just hear voices all the time. And I was like, how are you?
So here is my like no responsibility. Whatever call they're on, I just can't hear it. It's like I'm just in my zone.
That's
space.
great.
That's an amazing thing to be able to do. I wish I could do that. I just like need to use the headphones, the earplugs under the headphones, the noise cancelling, best noise cancelling headphones out there.
Which ones?
Well, back in the day it was a certain one of Sony.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
Sony
yeah. I got the Sony ones.
something. But I will be upgrading soon because I need an even better one. So I'm not getting better at that.
But I think you're quite sensitive with sound.
Yeah, I am.
Anyone neurodivergent in the room?
Yeah,
probably.
for
But
sure.
I mean, haven't been
You
diagnosed.
mentioned ADHD,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That actually a big turning point for me was ADHD medication, because the connection between my self-worth and my anxiety and the way I felt like an imposter in my work was so wrapped up in, I mean, it's hard to separate when you're an artist, you're presenting yourself and your work, and it's so intrinsically connected to you, it's so personal and so heavy weighted. And I think that's why it's obviously so hard for us to self-promote, because you're like, okay, this is me, this is my brand, this is what I'm about. Do you like it? Is this okay?
Do you like me?
Do you like me? Do you hate me? And I started taking ADHD medication, and Jesus Christ, I was like, I had been for years, right? This podcast, for example, we would have rejected you in a second.
Really?
Not a chance I would have done this. And prior to that, I had rejected every single talk, every single public speaking opportunity. I was like, I'm really sorry. I just can't. My anxiety is too bad. Like, I just felt like an imposter. I felt like I'm going to be revealed to be this, like, I don't know, this imposter that couldn't do anything. I don't know what I'm talking about. And so I just couldn't. And then I started taking that medication. I think it literally helped rewire my brain and just said, you can do this. Yeah. It's fine. And it gave me some weird spur of confidence. And then the year that I started taking it, I took the Nicer Tuesdays talk and just more opportunities that come my way. I'm like, I don't need to be scared anymore. Okay. Like, come on, you're fine. Wow. You've been doing this for a long time. It's all good.
So grateful for that.
Very grateful. Very grateful.
The interesting thing from an outsider as well is you're getting affirmation that you are good enough because people literally want you to do talks. And even your own brain was saying, no, I can't.
Yeah. It's hard to accept that sometimes though, because you're like, and people, my partner says that to me. She's like, they want you. They want you for this. They want you for that job. And I'm like, no, they don't. It's hard. Yeah. I've struggled with that a lot. And I think we can hold ourselves back so much if you're, in a mentally struggling place, or I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Did you have anything that kind of helped you? Well, you just said the ADHD pills, you would say but was there anything else that you felt like you were trying to do to kind of get better at that? Or could you have, or I don't know.
No, it's an interesting point. I mean, a lot of therapy. I know it seems unrelated, but I suppose, your mental state is also going to affect your work heavily.
No, for sure.
And I think, but also over the years, I felt more confident in my own skills and having learnt so much more since the beginning of my journey, and always I'm always trying to get better at what I do, technically speaking. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's always hard because you're always going to think. There's always, I don't know, there's always a thought that I'm not good enough, or there's always going to be someone better than you. And then obviously with social media, you're just like, I used to get myself in such pits, you know, you go on Instagram and think, shit, I mean, who the hell am I? How am I going to shine out of these people? And there's so many incredible people. And then of course you've got the really techie Houdini guys, and you're just like, oh, I don't know, that I feel like there's such a little, in the 3D world, there's such a funny little, I don't know, your cinema 4D Houdini. There's a real sort of divide. But no, I mean, all of that aside, it's
I do think lots of people struggle with that though.
Totally.
Yeah, they really do.
And like, I don't know a single person who hasn't said that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's over. I mean, the amount of talented people is overwhelming.
Yes.
And that can always lead to self-doubt, because if you just look at some references, you're like, I'm never going to be as good as that. But then what helps me is if I think that no one else has your specific way of looking at things and your skill set.
Yeah.
So you always have that.
Totally.
And that's like the safe zone, and always come back to that.
You've got you. Yeah. That's your brain. No one's brain's going to be the same.
Exactly.
And you're always going to output something from you. And I think,
and you want it to be different, maybe. Like you don't want to see that reference and be like, yep, let's.
No, things get so homogenized, you know, and so you see a lot of the same stuff. But and I think that does tend to happen a lot in 3D. But I think obviously, staying true to the things that you love and that your sources of inspiration. And that's I know it sounds silly and cheesy, but just I feel like when I get stuck and I'm like, you know, when I need to feel a burst of creativity or something, nature, I'm like, infinite realm, you know, look at a beautiful bird in the rainforest, the vibrant colors. That's the stuff that really like makes my like magpie eye go, you know,
because
stunning. And it's like, that's there, and that's always been there, and it's I don't know, it needs to be marveled at. I think
you just have to look a bit more into those things to actually, I don't know, to find those and find those little bits of inspiration, as you say.
Totally,
because you can just look at nature and be like, yeah, that's cool, and then go on to the next thing. But then I feel like you try to take it a slight step further and look into the slightest details, and that's what's inspiring you as well quite a lot. So that thing that you did with the butterfly series that you did, I love that series. It's so cute. It's so nice. And so that comes from microscopic views of butterfly wings, right?
Yes.
It's so cool.
I mean, stunning. And I see these sort of natural processes, and I often try to recreate them digitally, but I mean, half the time you're like, it's never going to be as beautiful as the real thing. You know, these butterfly wings under a microscope, stunning, insane. And I think so I have a great passion for gardening, and this is like a big hobby of mine outside of work. And I think having a garden and building a garden, it's made me kind of take a moment to just stop and pause and look, and looking at things up close, and just taking your time, taking a minute to just look and be in the moment. And I don't know. And it's,
for sure.
That's beautiful.
That's very inspired in nature, right? But I'm guessing that this end result that you had with the renders, there's like a mix of, I'm guessing, your background. You seem to have a bit of a graphical background, I don't know.
Yeah.
And how do you see all of those little things kind of mixing together? Because I'm really interested in how each individual kind of ends up, as we were talking before, you end up having a unique mix of things. And so, I guess that's what's interesting me as well about those renders. I like knowing that that's where it comes from, but also, there are multiple points of where that can come from. So
no, totally. I think I do find that I'm often I've got quite into trying to get to a hyper-real place, but I'm not quite. I mean, people are doing it in the photorealistic, such insane photorealistic ways, and I think because I've never really, I think I've mixed a sort of half hyperrealism into more of a graphic. It's hard to describe, really, but definitely a blend of those sort of things.
Sure. I think that's what's quite cool is creating something new with the references and inspiration that you've gathered. So but you're wanting to create more of a photoreal style. Is that kind of something that you're looking to push?
I think so. I think just through the early days of having learnt 3D to where I am now, there's been a development and a progression of the more of a technical style. But I think what's nice is that I mean, I'm not good enough to be photorealistic, but I think I like that simplicity in it getting to a place where it could look a little bit real, but it's also very clearly a render, or it's very clearly quite graphic. And obviously with the colors, it's synthetic. So I mean, I love trying to recreate textures, patterns, shapes and forms, and using inspiration from nature and blending that into a sort of a graphic melting pot of some sort.
I also really like that you say you're trying to recreate it, but then at the same time there's that barrier of how much you can actually get to a real image or a realistic image. And I sometimes I enjoy that barrier of actually not getting there, because it helps me stylize an image.
Exactly.
So
Perfectly put.
But it's also, how do I say this? I spent so long the other week trying to create like a realistic hand, like the texture of the hand and all the different like folds and where the subsurface is and blemishes, and because we all know what a hand should look like, and we all know what a bird's wing looks like, it makes it really difficult to trick the human eye into thinking that that's real.
And sometimes the more detail you put into it, it looks less real. You're like, wait, how did that happen?
And in theory it shouldn't look wrong. It should look right now, but something's still off. Our eye knows that. And so it's really hard to achieve photorealism.
For sure.
But do we need to recreate something that already exists?
Exactly.
But it's also cool in thinking that we can get close and then it's just slightly off, and that's the beauty in it. But
hell yeah,
I agree.
And then I guess you work from home, but you've got your gardening that kind of like balances out the very intense nature of our work. Do you have any like rituals or habits that help you get into flow? And what does your creative process look like? Because I mean, I guess that you do more work that is for your style, and you're working with direct clients, and sometimes we have that, but mostly we are working with agencies, which I'm sure you are too. And for that, your kind of process is more set in stone for you. But when you're doing the more direct client work, it's very personal. It can get into a pit of working lots of late nights. I guess, how do you set some structure for that, and how what are your rituals for getting into flow?
Great question. And actually the process of more direct client work, which is again where like you say, it's more, they come to you and they say, we want you to create something, this visual, with using your vision essentially. And that's obviously where where you can get really creative and have a lot of creative freedom. And I am still refining that process, because I think I can get a little bit lost sometimes in the R&D stage of things, and but that's the part I love. I mean, that's so you're briefed and you get down to it. Often I don't even start sketches. I just jump straight in, and you're just sketching out in 3D. And I love that part, because you're just like, okay, where can we go with this? Putting things together, seeing what works, shapes, colors, all of that part. I love the beginning stages, and then develop those imagery into something more defined. So yeah, I think that's quite magic about 3D. Rather than a pen to paper, you can just dive straight in and start putting things together. So that's kind of how I generally start those projects. Rituals wise, also circling back to the solo working from home reclusivity. I think I've only seen in recent years, I've realized the importance of community and connecting to other artists, because I feel like my journey's been very solo, and I've closed myself off a little bit to the outside world. You're teaching yourself, and it's so, the importance of learning from other people too is so valuable. I mean, the days that I worked in a studio with the motion graphic designers around me, and the little tips and tricks that they teach you, and that stuff stays with you, and just bouncing off from each other. I think it's so important. And yeah, just so nice to meet other women doing 3D too, which I feel, I think from the very early days of 3D, there weren't many girls doing it. And it's so great to see now.
No, yeah, I agree totally with that. And it helps to kind of just share these little challenges that we've been talking about as well. And it's always good to know that we all go through the same. And sometimes it feels like, I don't know, very individualistic, but it feels like you're the only one sometimes going through these things. But it's nice to kind of...
Exactly. And I think having opened up a little bit more about mental health, in the talks that I've done, I always like to end touching upon mental health aspects. And I hadn't really realized how well that would have been received, and to have lots of people come up to me after and just say, really appreciated you saying that, because everyone is going through the same thing. Everyone feels the same. Everyone feels like an imposter. Everyone feels shit about themselves, about their work, and so it's just nice to have that human moment with each other and just say, we're all going through it too. It's okay.
Yeah, I liked that moment when you mentioned that at the end of the talk, for sure. It gives it a different edge to when you speak in public. Sometimes it feels like it's just us showing the work, and really it's not only about that, and people are very much interested in knowing backstories, and
that's also why we're doing this podcast as well.
Exactly.
That's kind of where it stems from. It's not just about the shiny end result of the projects. It's like all the trials and tribulations that go on behind closed doors that we don't always share.
Hell yeah.
Because we try and make it all positive all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not always.
Yeah. And I do feel like sometimes, I don't know if it happens to you guys, but as a freelancer, you get asked quite a bit like, how's it going? And like, what are you on? Or things like that. And sometimes I've maybe felt a bit weird about saying, well, I'm jobless right now, but it's good. And I think that's just part of, I don't know, just now trying to be more open and transparent about what I'm feeling when I'm going through stuff as well. So not always, it doesn't always have to be positive when someone asks you, how's it going?
Yeah,
and I'm a bit more okay right now. Also because of all these conversations that we've been having, knowing that
the struggle is
the
real.
best of us go through these kind of things, And so, yeah. And I also think the more you open up, the more someone is ready to open up back, and just makes it better.
Share the love. And actually, that reminds me of a very recent almost career change that I had, because I was like, there was maybe, when was this? Maybe 2 years ago, and work had dried up, and I was just having this summer, and there was just nothing. It was just dead, tumbleweeds, and I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm having such dead time. No one's coming to me. No one wants me. And I just said, shit, I'm going to have to change my career. And so I enrolled in a college, a community college, garden design course. So I was like, I'm going to become a garden designer.
I love.
And this was like literally 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And so I literally did this course every Tuesday with a load of mums, like, you know, who were doing a course too, and some grannies. And I was like, yeah, this is me now. I'm just going to give it all up. Like, yeah. And I genuinely thought, yeah, this is me done now. I've peaked fully, and I'm just going to give it all up and just have a chilled life and be a garden designer.
Wait, but then, why was that?
Yeah, because I had no work.
Really?
And I just thought it's been 3 months and I had no work, or something like that. You know that freelance fear, and you're like panicking.
Sure. You're like, what's my backup?
Yeah, nothing. And then Instagram hit. Instagram came to me and said, will you redesign our gradient? And I was like, hell yeah, I will. I'm back, baby.
So did you just like did you finish the course then?
I finished the course. I graduated from my course.
You have the perfect AI backup now.
Yeah, exactly.
When it takes over, you're done.
Yes. And yeah, so but work got busy again, thankfully. It's just funny how life throws things at you.
No, exactly. When you least expect it, it's
totally.
It does up again.
It does when you least expect it.
But on that point as well, like I genuinely a couple of years ago was looking at either OnlyFans or delivery driver.
Did you? I think all of us
serious. I was like, so what do you think about me doing either of these things? He was like, you're gonna have to be doing a lot of driving if you want to make your money being delivery driver, Lucy.
Okay, he focused on the delivery driver.
But I'd also need to get my like a license for my moped. So the upfront cost is quite a lot for me to get into the delivery.
What about OnlyFans?
And the OnlyFans, I actually had a look at the OnlyFans. Yeah, we can do
that. Would be hot.
The production quality was a lot higher than I expected. And I thought that's a lot of investment again for me having to like, you know, get a studio space.
What would you post on OnlyFans?
Have some big boobs and be good at cooking, which I don't have either of those things.
What was it?
I don't have good looking feet either.
So you were thinking of like cooking on OnlyFans?
Well, that's what it seemed to be. Big tits and cooking, and I can't compete. So I just thought back to square one. It's tough out there. Let's go back to design.
God,
but that was going to be my support on the side.
Yeah,
and still that was a lot of investment.
Got to have a side hustle.
Yeah, I'm still wondering what that is. I think dog walking would be my thing.
Stunning, really nice.
But so far it's okay. I'm going through a good stint. So
yeah, keep.
But I also don't think I would ever be able to leave design. Like, it's so part of, you know, our personality. I just think, yeah, I've already committed so long to this career that if I was to dip out now, that's a waste.
It's quite intrinsic. It's part of you.
Yeah.
You can't really leave it.
Like cutting off a limb, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
But you came back.
I mean, one day I'd like to just work in a coffee shop and just go. I just like to start and end my day with no worries, no stress. I think, again, it's that heavy weight of carrying yourself, your work intertwined in this, you know, that's a lot of pressure. But God, we're lucky.
Yeah, we are.
God, we're lucky.
We love what a job. We do. Yeah.
What a job, to the variety and the every project being so different and people finding us and you know, it's magic.
Do you think there's maybe a variant of our work that we could go into without all of the other shit, all the stress? Like, what is it that we could do without the stress?
Well,
design wallpaper and sell it for
exactly.
money.
That's what I'm gonna Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe we could collab. I don't know,
Yes,
some kind of garden design hybrid.
Maybe we could design some like very futuristic garden gnomes or something.
Oh yeah,
3D printed garden gnomes.
Stunning.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, how do you stay inspired, I guess, when you hit creative blocks or feel a bit stuck, if that happens?
I think that's where I like to turn to more organic imagery, because I think I would, I think that's where organic imagery, as in turning to a subject or, you know, science, nature, color, those are my kind of core loves and interests. And when I turn to those, that's where I feel I can actually that's where I get really, you get that sort of buzz in your chest and you're like, yes, okay, come on, let's do this, let's make this. That's the stuff that really kind of makes me tick. Yeah.
That's the best feeling.
That is the best feeling.
Mm.
And it's and that means that I think that opens doors to creating something different. My old dog. Hello, sir. And I think when you looking at references, I feel like that's something I did early on in my career. I mean, obviously we have to sometimes, for certain projects, but I think that's when I get it. That's when it makes me stressed because I think, oh no, and then it starts to make me feel insecure, and
all of that
starts going.
Yeah.
So it's like when you can turn to subjects and resources that are, nature is all around us, turn to these things, because that's where I don't know.
I guess it's also creating work that's true to you. It's true to your interests.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's not a case of looking at other great work and thinking, fuck, can I get to that level?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
And previously I would sometimes make work and have the references. It's a mix of references, but then sometimes there'll be some either photographic imagery or 3D renders or whatever. And just having that there while I'm working is just a little bit insane, because you keep looking at it and you're like, oh, it's not that. It's not yet.
Yeah.
And I feel like that does cut a little bit of your spark, your inspiration while you're working.
Yeah, totally. It can.
Yeah. I think I am just quickly on self-doubt in a more of like a kind of like micro levels. I sometimes struggle with, you can have so many ideas, like non-stop flowing ideas, but which one to actually pursue and to keep the momentum going to finish it. And I think self-doubt can come in little ways throughout the production of that work.
Yeah. And also for me, technical limitations. You want to try and make something and there's 1,000 ways of making it. And what if you don't know how to make it? What if you don't, I don't know. There's always, there are so many roadblocks in in the software.
100%. But then you do always work it out in the end in your own little way.
Exactly.
For sure.
But I honestly, just going back to what you were saying about the community and learning from people, I literally have so many people to thank for supporting me, from learning from them, like whether that's in full time or even just sending messages on Instagram, like, dude, how'd you do that? Can you help me out? And then, they'll be voice noting me back, sending me tutorials or giving me breakdowns or files. It's like, that's what people do for each other. And I don't know how you get by without it, really.
That is damn cute.
Everything.
I love that. I think that's so special and so important. And I think for so many years, I didn't ever reach out. I didn't reach out enough to people. And I was like, alone in my tower. And there's so many people that are so willing to help. And I think 3D people are their own breed, because it's its own thing, isn't it? And it's there's such a wealth of knowledge and skills and techniques, and I think people are willing to help each other out and share
more than we think. Yeah,
more than we think.
Definitely.
And so we should all reach out and just be open and not scared that you're out on your own and that you're, you know, fighting for yourself. It's like we're all in it together.
It's true. It's very true.
And with the renders that you were doing about the butterfly renders that we were talking about before, is that personal work?
Yeah, personal work. And actually, for me, that's another really important outlet, because I think obviously there are limitations with what your client work is going to be, you know, you're going to be able to achieve and output. And I think for me, that's a really important outlet to just be able to make what I want to make and make the work that I love, just even for myself. And it keeps spurring me on, because if I'm like, okay, I want to make, I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah, the butterfly wings was a personal project. So I just love them so much. This microscopic imagery. And if I can keep making things like that, then people might come to me one day and say, hey, we want to make something similar. It goes from there. So
absolutely.
No, of course.
How do you like find the time to do all of that?
When I don't have work?
Yeah, exactly.
Use that. So really important to use that time, the downtime, to, if you have the capacity. And I often don't have the capacity to do that when I have no work, or I'll just garden. But yeah, important creative outlets. It's so necessary. It's like, get it out on the page.
Yeah. I actually find it a little difficult sometimes when I have those moments suddenly of like, oh wait, I'm in between jobs. Wait, this moment is so cool. Like, you've got a week or two maybe. And then I feel the pressure, and then I just don't do it.
That's
totally
so common.
Totally.
You have all the right intention, but then as soon as you come to it, you're just thinking, should be making money right now. Should be working.
No,
it's very hard to let go of.
It is.
But
and
it
then I
comes
think
with time.
Sorry.
No, go on.
No, I also think that in those moments, those maybe bits of self-doubt that, you know, you have all the time sometimes come up, or I think what I'm trying to say is that when I have finally the opportunity, I just get that anxiety of, I don't know if I'll be able to do what I want and how I want, or I don't know. Yeah, just like those little bits of self-doubt sometimes stop me from it.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, I get over it sometimes, and then I manage to do my personal work. But I think that's also, right now, for example, I have this idea, I want to make it, but then the standard in my head is like yay high, and then I have to get there. And I feel like it's the tallest mountain I have to climb right now. I know that all I have to do is maybe break it up, bite size it a little bit, and I'll get there. But that's the journey that I'm struggling with.
It's so challenging right now. I have the same but thing. What I'm aiming for is up here, and I'm starting down here. And then the first couple of renders that I've just done, I'm like, it's totally shit.
I know.
That's totally shit. I'm just gonna stop.
You're just
but then you've got your little list, and you're just like, okay, one thing at a time. Like, get this character in cinema. I can do that. Okay, one thing. Like, and just break your troubleshooting
That's
list
exactly
down.
what you're supposed to do.
It's all about chipping away.
Chip
away.
And like every single little thing is for something, even though at the end of the 6 hours that you just spent out of your very personal time, it does work for something. Is what I struggle with a lot as well, because I just feel like I've spent an entire day and it's not Instagrammable. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna, no one's gonna see it.
That is not gonna go towards such an intense pressure, that.
It
and
is.
Actually, I think there's such magic in just giving yourself some damn credit for just taking one thing off your list, doing one tiny thing that contributes to that end result, which could be 3 months down the line.
Yes,
of course. But I mean, the pressure that we put on ourselves to manage our business, it's a lot. And to be able to have a creative outlet on the side, I mean, we're lucky to get the time to do it, but it's hard.
It is hard. And to have money.
Yes.
Because I've actively taken 2 weeks out, and I've said no to a project so I can do personal work.
Lucky.
Which
is
good, great, but I have put the pressure on myself now to make sure I am actually achieving something every
And
day.
is that a good thing?
Otherwise, this is a waste of time and money.
I understand,
and not making money. But I'm loving it because I said to myself, this is why I'm freelancing.
Exactly.
You're so lucky to just go to your studio, not have anyone telling you what to do right now, and make something for yourself.
Yes.
Well done, you. So even just having that, I feel chuffed.
Nice.
But yeah, it's hard to make
has
something.
that pressure, like giving it, because that's a little bit of pressure that you're sort of giving yourself by having said no to money.
Yeah,
right.
But I know that I will
It's like
have
you're
some
paying
money again
yourself.
soon. So I think knowing that you've got something booked in is obviously that takes the pressure away.
No, but as in you're paying yourself right now to do this project, kind of like in my mind.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's
so
true.
does that help you actually kind of push through?
I think it's more experience, like knowing that this will be worthwhile in the end. Like you really want this time and you've got time now.
Yeah.
So use it.
For sure.
And it's completely necessary. I feel this is like
exactly. That's what we forget.
It's like an expense. It's like this is you're expensing your own time to get your juices flowing and to like get that. You know, that's important. It's like a service. You're servicing it. It's like an MOT for your mind.
Yes, it is.
You need
That's
it.
exactly what I will look at it as.
I agree.
Yeah. Very
Something
necessary.
Something that I feel helps me as well to kind of not feel like, you know, when I said that then at the end of the day, I don't feel like I can post it or something like that. And then feels like it's just gone into the void of my, you know, that folder again.
Digital realm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one thing I feel is helping me with that is to put it, like have this huge mirror, which I know you do as well, have a huge mirror and just like dump all of the stuff that I'm doing onto that. And then I look back at it and I'm like, oh, that's that little experiment that I did back then. And then it's like, it feels like I'm going somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
You can see it
what I'm doing.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a bit more tangible.
It's not in an inception of folders on your Dropbox.
Exactly. It's like, I know it's leading to something at least.
You're still working to your goal. It's just very small and you don't really feel like those little tasks or design projects you're doing are actually going anywhere, but they are.
Yeah.
They're always worthwhile.
Exactly. It's digital mood board.
So what is the best advice you've received or any advice that you could give?
Yeah, so it's a tricky one because it's hard to pinpoint an exact, you know, bit of advice.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh yeah,
of
course. So sorry. I think that I've struggled so much with my own self-doubt along the way. And so that's made it very hard for me to sort of pick myself up in, you know, low moments. But I think that obviously time in the industry and experience, you know, that mounts up and you feel more comfortable in yourself and you feel more comfortable in your worth. But obviously when you're starting out, you don't have that. So you're kind of out in the open, you're exposed, you're new, you're fresh, and it's terrifying. But I mean, just stick with it. Just stick with it. Don't give up. Just keep grinding, keep pushing yourself, keep learning, keep trying new techniques. Find the things that you love, find those areas of interest, because they will spur you on throughout, and they will influence your work in huge ways.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I actually really like what you're saying about finding those little things that really do excite you, because I think even it's applicable even when you're not just starting out, because I feel like I went through quite a moment, quite like a year or two, in which I was just looking at other people's work and just like trying to get to, you know, that level or whatever, or this other thing. And in the end, like, I started focusing more on what it is that makes me tick, what I like, and that's made me a lot happier as well in the process. And I feel like it allows you to output work that's just a lot more you.
Completely.
And that's going to be more valuable, I feel, to plus first of all yourself, but then also anyone that gets to experience your work as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because you're not replicating anything, and it's more genuine.
Exactly.
Genuine. And last but not least, is there a particular project or goal that you have yet to pursue?
Ooh, I like this question.
Great question. I would love to do a festival like festival branding.
Amazing.
Wicked, yeah.
Again, going back to large scale work, large scale, billboards, screens, all of it, the kind of the full spectrum that it would take to brand a festival or an event of that scale. I really love. So I'd love to do something like that. That would be amazing.
Manifesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how you touched on the fact that you would like your work to maybe exist more out of the screen?
Yeah.
Are you interested? Well, obviously, like with a festival brand, that is what that is. But would you want anything to be like more tactile?
Well, that's a great one. And actually, I really wanted to do a course. I wanted to go back to St. Martin's actually and do one of their amazing short courses, like a plaster cast workshop. I think, and I wanted to see if I could basically create the tangible things that I've been wanting to make in 3D in real life. But it's not something that never really materialized, but maybe one day in the future would be epic.
Yeah. Like I can actually imagine those butterfly wings. You want to create them.
For sure.
That would be awesome.
Oh, how satisfying would that be to touch?
Yeah.
That's so interesting as well, like learning the techniques on how to recreate those things.
Yeah. And yeah, satisfying, tangible textures.
Oof. Yep. Also,
Wicked.
I have a quick question, just circling way back to the beginning when you said that you started at St. Martin's. Was it difficult to get in? Because I know it's quite a very good university here in London.
It was a weird one actually, because I scraped together a portfolio of bits and bobs of God knows what. I did a lot of painting at school and drawings, and then I put together an album of photography of basically, me and my friends, my life in London, and for some bizarre reason, I got in. I have no idea. I had no GCSEs, literally none. I got an F in maths. Terrible at maths. Terrible.
So,
maybe got like a C and a D. I have no clue, and I don't know what it's like now. But I
did
suppose
you do arts and
I did art.
yeah.
I did art at school and loved it. So I suppose hopefully that would have helped. But I have no idea what it's like now, and I hope that people are still given the opportunities when they didn't have a good time at school, because I certainly didn't. And
especially for like trying to pursue a career in art, I think.
Totally.
Do they? I don't know what it's like in the UK, but do they ask for a good mark in maths, for example?
Well, true.
For
not really needed.
For college.
Let me just math out the colours.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, to get into Leeds to do graphic design, I needed AAB for my A levels.
Really?
So it was a really academic.
That's ridiculous.
I know. And they didn't even require a portfolio. So I had no portfolio,
but yes,
and they were really heavy on the academia.
Well, that makes no sense.
It does make no sense at all.
I think they need to just see that someone has a creative spark of any kind and give them a chance.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's how it should be.
And then it's their job to also help instigate the rest of it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy I just had to scrape through my uni. The exams to get in. So academic.
What did you do?
I did it all in Spain. And so there you just have to, they have these like they call it bachelorette. It sounds weird.
Oh, yeah.
But you basically have to just pass those exams, which are exams that the whole of Spain goes through more or less, and then the university sort of ask for like a grade above X amount, for all of it. So they'd kind of average out the marks, and yeah.
And do you do that at 18 or?
Yeah. So that's it.
And no one knows themselves at that age, and that's what's so cute and hilarious.
I
It's
know.
like,
It's just
I don't know who I am,
Yeah.
but get me into art school,
Exactly.
and then
You're
just
such
give
a
me a chance.
baby.
Just some cute little babies with their sweet,
Well, you must have thought that, especially when you were 23, looking at all those people on your course.
I had an age complex. I had a massive age complex.
Wait,
I felt
you were
like
23 when you went to...
I was about 23 or something, and I was like, I'm just old, and everyone here thinks I'm ancient. And I had a point to prove, because I was like, okay, I need to make the most of this time. And then I think I
like you
did.
though, at that age.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
I feel
think
like
it's
if I should have done it at that age,
Yeah.
and I would have made.
I was just not thinking about anything future. I was like, get to have a good time now. I just broke my balls getting some A stars.
Yeah.
So I could get into this course, and then and now I'm having a chill time. So
And then let loose and leave.
Exactly, I was letting loose in Leeds.
Yeah.
Probably looking at some other 23-year-olds thinking, Jesus, look how old they are.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, well,
Amazing.
that was such a good chat.
That was such a nice chat.
Guys,
so much
it's
for
been
coming today. It's so good.
stunning. Thank you so much for having me, and this gorgeous spread of cherries, strawberries, and banana bread. How lucky am I?
Thanks so much for listening to this episode.
If you're enjoying the podcast so far, we'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on your favorite platform, be it Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're tuning in from.
We can't wait to share the next episode with you. Bye for now.